Call to order the City of West Sacramento regular meeting of the Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission. The Pledge of Allegiance this evening, in appreciation for his excellent service to this commission, will be led by Daniel Anderson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oath of Allegiance for public officers, Daniel.
Actually, we'll go ahead and do the roll call first.
Oh, yep.
Yes,
we will.
We have Chairperson Seals,
Here.
Commissioner Hayashi,
Here.
Commissioner Clower, Commissioner Lozano,
Here.
Commissioner McMichael,
Here.
Commissioner Volkar, and Commissioner Brannaman.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. And now the Oath of Allegiance. Item 1A, Oath of Allegiance for public officers.
Could all please rise and raise your right hand? I state your name.
I, Denise Seals,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties about which I'm about to enter.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. Reminder that tonight's agenda is available on the counter along with request to speak cards. A reminder to everyone that request to speak cards should be completed and turned in to the clerk prior to the completion of any staff presentation. For those speakers wishing to speak on items not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of this commission, please write the item number on your card. All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Please also note that this meeting is being recorded and televised, so all speakers, in order to be recognized, must be called on by the chair and come forward to the microphone. Speaking in public might cause some individuals to be uncomfortable, so everyone is asked to be professional and respectful at all times. It's a great pleasure to welcome this new Board of Commissioners. This is our first meeting of 2017, so to welcome both previous sitting commissioners and new members to this commission. So if you'll start to my left and give us your name and tell us, a little bit about yourself and your interest in this commission.
Sure. Sam Hayashi, second generation West Sacramento. My dad grew up here, and I actually have a strong interest in the historic preservation part of this commission. I'm also a photographer and used to do quite a bit for local bands and modeling stuff too, and some weddings. But I'm very excited to be here and do my part on this commission.
Thank you.
I'm Julia McMichael, a resident since 1992. I'm formerly employed by the Crocker Art Museum and the Sacramento Jazz Jubilee. So art is what I live and breathe for, as well as historic preservation and culture. I think it's a very important mission as West Sacramento goes forward to have a really vibrant arts and culture scene. So I'm very pleased to be on this commission.
Thank you.
Ian Brannaman, lifelong West Sacramento resident. Spent years and years working with the California Arts Council, the state agency, giving out grants throughout the state. I have 2 young daughters who I'm hoping to help lead West Sacramento with their arts and culture and historical preservation for them.
Hi, I'm Steve Lozano, and I was actually born and raised in West Sacramento. So I went to River City High School, graduated there. Went on to UCLA, where I got my BA in World Arts and Cultures. And so I've always been very active in the art and culture and theater here. And I also do shows with Land of Players Closet Door Theater. So I've been in productions with them. So I'm just excited to be here.
Great.
Happy to get this going. Yeah.
Thank you so much. My name is Denise Seals. I'm a relative newcomer to West Sacramento. My husband and I have lived here for about 15 years. We own a home in the Southport area. I'm retired as CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. I've been on this commission since its inception, and am pleased with the work, the historical work that this commission has accomplished in the course of the last maybe 10 or 12 years. I can't remember how long it's been a commission, but we have, it's a very active commission. We have a great deal of interaction with the public, and I believe that the arts and preserving the history of a community help create fiber for that community, for the families that live here and the children that grow up here. So thank you all very much for contributing your time and talents to our commission. I look forward to working with all of you. Item 1C, election of commission chair and vice chair. Daniel.
So we have a motion to elect a chairperson for the upcoming term?
I would like to make a motion to re-elect our chair, Denise Seals, because of her high-quality work and experience in leading and guiding this commission.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second it.
All right, Sam seconds that one. And we have a, take all vote here. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, great, thank you. So we have Denise as the chair, and would like to take it from there for the vice?
Oh, thank you very much, and thank you, commissioners. I appreciate that and look forward to working with all of you again. Is there a motion for vice chair of this commission?
A motion to elect Commissioner McMichael.
I'll second that.
I'm so new that I feel that perhaps someone who served previously might be more qualified in parliamentary procedure. So I'd like to defer, unless no one, I would like to place Sam's name in nomination, if that is appropriate.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Congratulations, Commissioner. Item 1D, presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the Commission. The Commission is prohibited by law from discussing issues not on the agenda brought to them at this time. Do we have any requests to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 1E, Commission communications. Any communication? Any outside activities? Any commission-related? I was pleased to sit on, I'll move forward with the poem selection. I was pleased to serve on a committee with Stephen, Ian, and Sam, and Commissioner Clower, to select a poem to be installed in the Washington neighborhood as part of a public art piece. The poem selected was a poem entitled "The Sacramento" written by a former poet laureate, Jeff Noer. We felt that it was just an excellent representation of our community, the focus on the river and the river's role in joining people together. And so we had 150 poems selected. which was an excellent response. And we were unanimous in our selection of the poem, The Sacramento. Any other communications?
Yes. I was privileged to attend the Greater Sacramento Economic Council's presentation at Raley Field. For greater visitation, their focus will be on tourism and visitation by festival goers. And launching forward from some of the festivals, it's a way of creating jobs for workers who might not be as skilled, but hotel workers, restaurant, all of those gain considerable visitation through festivals. So that's their focus for this year, and I was very interested in hearing speakers from San Antonio, Texas, and their Riverwalk, and other presentations having to do with art block and art hotel, and how that brought greater economic benefit into our region. And so I'm very interested in what they had to say about festivals and look forward to further information on that. Also, I would ask for an update, if not at this meeting, on the firehouse historic designation at some time, either now or in the future, if we have that information. Thank you.
We'll defer that to item 6C, and that would be a good time to give staff that direction. Thank you. Any other communications, commissioners? All right, presentations. Item number 2, Arts, Theater, and Special Events Update. Sam Brinkhouse, Recreation Supervisor.
Good, testing. Okay. You all can hear me? Okay. So what I'd like to do is just give you a quick update on the latest occurrences that have been happening with our theater arts and special events at the community center. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Brinkhouse. A little bit about myself, lifelong West Sacramento resident, went to River City High School, grew up in the area near the, right off of Park Boulevard, and attended all the public schools, Golden State, River City, Westmore Oaks, and I'm still with the city. I've been with the city since high school, actually mostly in aquatics and fitness, and I've been in this current position for a little over a year now, and so I'm just learning something new every day and really just diving into the world of theater and arts, which is relatively new to me, but loving it thus far. So during the presentation at any time, if you have a question, feel free to just shoot it out, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. So what we have is just a PowerPoint presentation with some updates on mostly the black box theater, some of our leisure interest classes, and some of the art receptions that have occurred. We haven't had a presentation within the past 6 months or so, so this is going to be going back probably a good 6 months. Okay, so in terms of the theater productions that we've had, one of the partners that we work with is Flying Monkey Productions. For those of you who are familiar with their work, they do great kids and children's theater here in town. Heathers the Musical was a play that we had back in the summertime, July 29th through August 6th, and that is, it's a rock musical, and it's kind of murder intrigue. It takes place in a high school setting. It was a great show. I don't know if you had a chance to come check that out, but it was really great. And then back in November, we had Alice in Wonderland, which is a children's theater production, again, same group, Flying Monkey Productions. In December, we had a group through the Splinter Group Theater Company, which is an offshoot of Sacramento City College. It's a panto, and for those of you who are not familiar with what a panto is, it is essentially think Monty Python. Think slapstick humor, think interacting with the crowd and the performers on stage, shouting back and forth, yelling. It's a really great time, and they work with us every season during the Christmas time, and this past year was, again, Sleeping Beauty. Joy and Madness was a performer that we had January 14th as part of a fundraiser for the River City High School Band Boosters, West Cap Music Fest, second annual. It's something that is coordinated with the legendary Mike McGowan, and I just had to throw that in there. So I worked with him directly in booking the space and coordinating with all the artists and reserving the facility for him. So it was a great event. Had multiple performers. The headline was Joy and Madness, which kind of a funk rock group. They have opened up for Tower Power in the past, and it's a big name, so we were really excited to have them there at our space. Lizzie the Musical was a show that we had just this past February, and that is through a new production company. This was their inaugural performance, The Actors Playpen, and they want to use our space 2 to 3 times a year for their theater. Lizzie was based on the children's tale of Lizzie Borden, the axe murderer who went.
Something about her mother and
She murdered her parents, and but they turned it into a rock musical. Think Rocky Horror Picture Show. Think very little dialogue. It's mostly singing. They had a live rock band performing on a stage 7 feet off the ground. It was awesome. And the lower picture there is from Good Day Sacramento that actually came out to do a feature on the show, the space. I do have a link to that, so I can email you the link if you'd like to watch that video. It was pretty cool that they came out. We went ahead and passed out a little reminder postcard for you. This is for Sleeping Beauty kids next month. And again, this is through Flying Monkey Productions. They'll be in for just a weekend. It looks like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with a matinee on Sunday. Please check flyingmonkey.com for tickets and show times, and bring your little ones. It's definitely appropriate for kids. So moving on to some of the special events that we've hosted here at our facility. This is the Sac Valley Music Industry Forum, which is a partnership from a local group called Creative Music Services. And we had panels, we had demos, we had musicians come in, coordinate, network with one another. The middle photo is a panel group set in the Black Box Theater, and they were discussing the music industry as we know it here in the area. And this was a charitable event. Part of the proceeds went to a local group here in town called Girls Rock Sacramento, which empower girls through music is their mission. So we were really excited to partner with them and have them use our space. This is a West Sac tradition, the father-daughter dance. This year's theme was Ooh La La Paris. And it's a full fun night. We had 315 fathers and daughters attend with food, dancing, DJ, games, crafts and games. The top photo there with arriving horse-drawn carriage. So they go all out. They rent limousines, and it's a night for the fathers and daughters to really enjoy each other's company. Moving on to some future events. This is one of our future special events. This is the Sac Indie Arcade. This was some of the photos were from last year's event. Again, Good Day Sacramento came out. That's on the bottom right. This is an event that we do partner with West Sacramento Parks and Rec. And we get gamers, they come out, game developers come out and basically showcase the games that they've created and worked on, and have an opportunity to network with fellow gamers in the area. This is the West Sac we call it the IGX. It's the Intergalactic Expo. And this is an annual event at the Civic Center District. So we use the Los Rios grass area, we use the community center We use the council chambers, City Hall, Galleria. We have vendors, we have performers, we have demonstrations, family-friendly event. We have food trucks, and it's an event that has grown every single year since, yes.
This is the what annual? Like fourth or
Yeah, fourth.
fifth?
I believe the
Fourth?
first season was 13.
Okay.
So this will be the fourth annual Intergalactic Expo. And we used to have it a full Saturday, Sunday. We've cut it back to it's just a Sunday, and it seems to be enough for everyone. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. Think sci-fi convention, think Comic-Con, scaled down to, West Sac size. So it's pretty cool. Okay, moving on to some of our special interest classes, leisure interest classes. This is our jazz dance. We have 2 sessions. One's on Monday, that's the beginning dance, and we also have a Thursday, which is an intermediate dance. They have performances and recitals in our black box about twice a year. It's an opportunity to showcase their skills in front of their friends and family. And it's one of our most popular, longest-lasting classes that we've hosted here at the community center, I believe since the facility opened back in 2011. This is a new class. This is Mindful Martial Arts. So this took the place of the long-standing martial arts class that we had with the Saxtons, who recently retired after 35 years of teaching here in the community. They recently retired, and we had a Tuesday evening slot open up. And think yoga meets martial arts. So we actually had a chance to demo this out as full-time staff at the rec center. It kicked our butt. It was an awesome workout, and get really excited with vigorous movements, and then go into more meditation, and then back and forth. So it's kind of a shock to your system. So thus far, it's been extremely popular, and we hope to run it continuously. Young Rembrandts is our youth art class. We partner with a group. Young Rembrandts is a group that we do partner with. We host classes for them during the summer months and also spring break. So we'll have a session with them April 10th through the 14th. And these are some of the class participants showcasing some of their art. This is pastel work that they do. And the setting is actually in Gallery 1075, which is an awesome setting for an art class, as you can imagine, with the real art on the walls. We have the big bay windows. We get the natural lighting in there. And it's a setting that has a lot of inspiration. And the kids and the parents really seem to enjoy it. Ballet, this is our tippy toe ballet class. This is Wednesday evenings at the community center. We have some great candid photos here. We have 2 separate age groups. One is 3 and 4, and the other one is 5 and 6. And parents dress up their little ones in tutus and ballet shoes and whatnot, and it's becoming extremely popular. That's our instructor, Karina, who does a great job. Archery, this is new. This is a class that we just started this past fall, and we had to take a break for winter due to the inclement weather. We actually returned this month, and it's at Sam Combs Park. For those of you who are familiar with the area, Sam Combs Park, Tuesday evenings from 6 to 7. And when the instructor first kind of proposed this idea of real bow and arrows, everyone was like, wait a minute, like
8-year-olds?
Yeah, and 8-year-olds and kids, and are we going to do this?
a dog park.
Yeah, in a public park with a dog park and with Little League players. So we contacted YC Parmia and just kind of told them, hey, this is kind of what we are looking at. And we did some research, and there's a lot of other parks and recs that are doing archery classes. So we said, what the hey? And
then you bought some.
yeah. I tried it out. I demoed it. I loved it. And so that's the instructor, Joshua. He's a local guy. He lives in the state streets, and he actually lives on Virginia, and he can walk to Sam Combs. So this is a perfect class for him
Really
to teach.
close as the arrow flies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. But we set up a backdrop. It's safe. We flag off the course. It's fully supervised, and thus far it's been extremely popular. And we have the little ones practicing their shooting in this pic right there. Okay, moving on to some of the art shows and some of the receptions that we've had. We went back as far back as the September-October, which is the Historical Society. And this is the gallery that they set up was California Women's Suffrage. And they brought in some pre-made placards. I don't know if you all had a chance to attend the reception. Here we have the mayor with some of the guests. It was a great, very educational event, and we were glad that they were in there for a full 2 months. This is the ACES, which is the local after-school programs here through our department. And they were able to showcase their art that we actually judged on as a staff. So we went out to the boathouse, and they had all of their art displayed, and we chose the ones that we thought were the top to display in the Gallery 1075. So it was a fun process doing that. This is something that I would like to invite you all to participate in the future, to judge this art, so they can come and display their masterpieces with a full reception of their family members. This is a local lady, Judy Martinez, who some of you may know. I was chatting with her. She actually knows a lot of my relatives that I had no idea, but again, West Sac is a small community, and she said, "Oh."
Her husband was one of the first city council members.
Okay.
He's over there on the bottom row.
He's over there, okay. Yeah, but she knew my cousin and some of my aunts and uncles, so that was pretty cool chatting with her. And she does fabulous paintings. She actually won 3 blue ribbons at the Yolo County Fair just recently with some of her art pieces. And it was a real treat to have her display her art in the gallery. This was an interesting show. This was back in January, Henry Parada. And think 3D art, think geometrical shapes, think stripes, think patterns. This was the first 3D art show that we had in the gallery. And at first we were a little concerned that the fact that it comes out from the wall, and we have a lot of people coming in, coming out of the entryways and exits, they might bump something, and that was one of our concerns. But Angie Pena, for those of you who know her, she's our curator. She does a fabulous job, and she was able to hang the art and place the art in ways that worked. And we had a great reception. He really enjoyed it. Think small scale work. His goal is to produce full-sized, large pieces for like corporate offices and executive buildings downtown. That's the ultimate goal of his. But again, he loved displaying his art here in West Sac. And
Is he a West Sacramento resident?
He is not. He's from across the river. This was a cool show. This was a tribute to one of these Spark participants who unfortunately recently passed away, Joshua Hansen Steinackle. And it was photographs from a Terry Venicio, and she captured Spark. She captured the participants, the activities, what they do in and day out as a program, some of the trips that they take, and she got it all on photographs, and she was able to display her art. They had a big reception with all the Spark. Spark is our, for those of you who don't know, it's like our adaptive recreation here in the community. So they loved it. They got a great kick out of seeing themselves displayed in these photographs in the gallery. And afterward, they had a nice reception and a crafts table set up afterwards. This to the right there, that's Christine Prater. She's our Spark supervisor. She supervises all the senior activities at the community center, and she's a real treat to work with. We love her. And this is the current month. This is Nate Eckler. If you haven't had a chance to go visit the current exhibit that's displayed, you really should need to check it out. It is amazing. It's photography, but he prints it on, he has it printed on metal sheets, And when you put a high gloss finish on that, it just pops. And it almost looks like it's illuminated from the back. And there's like additional lightings. You can't tell where it's coming from, but you say, how is this so bright and vivid? But it's the way it's printed, it's the material it's printed on, it's the gloss that he uses, and I just love it. So he's been in here the past couple years. He's a West Sac native. He has a lot of art at Lanise's Cafe. For those of you who are familiar with Lanise's out in Southport, they do like art shows. Do you question?
Oh, no, it's just,
No, I was saying I graduated with Nate.
Oh, awesome.
Graduated with me, so yeah.
From River City?
River City, yeah.
Oh, cool.
91.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, he's a great guy. That was the first chance that I've had to talk with him. Upcoming shows, to the left, we have the Learning Ladder, which is, the preschool that's under the umbrella of Parks and Recreation. And they do some pretty cool arts and crafts that will be on display for a portion of the month in April. And they'll also split that with the Indie Arcade art, which is the flyer that I passed out with the arcade show. So they will tag team April. May is going to be awesome. This is in correlation with our IGX, the Intergalactic Expo event. It's a tribute to the Lost Stars. So we all know that we've had some pretty bad losses in the sci-fi world this past year or so. Carrie Fisher, Leonard Nimoy, Ron Glass, just to name a few. So the local artists will put together essentially tribute pieces for the Lost Stars, as we call them. And that will be in there the entire month of May to pay tribute. So that is all I have in terms of the PowerPoint. Do you guys have any questions for me?
A couple questions. First of all, the Black Box is the loveliest venue. It's just a wonderful jewel for us to have. Can you tell me the seating, refresh my memory?
Yeah, there's 90 seated that can fit. In terms of standing room, if you want to sit and stand in some of the space, 120 to 150.
And how the programs that you were so very informative about, what was the attendance, do you think? Was it at capacity in some of
I would say some of the shows, especially the opening nights, were at capacity. Maybe some of the matinees, not so much. And again, it also depends on the theater production itself. If they have many, many, many shows, some may be more full than others. If it's just a weekend showing, then usually it's pretty packed.
And are the links that you referred to, are they available on the city website?
Yeah, we update the Black Box page, which is under the Parks and Rec website, every time there's a new show. So as soon as we have it booked, it's on the calendar, we have the deposit, we'll go ahead and start advertising on our end, which means our Facebook page, website, and constant contact emails.
So all West Sac residents should probably like your Facebook page?
Most definitely. If they want to get updates, then that would be a good idea.
And can you update me on Runaway Stage and how that will be, as we get a new theater in town, how that will impact the things that you do?
Yeah, in terms of Runaway Stage, I don't know the in and outs of their business in terms of what exactly they have going on. Through the grapevine, I've heard that they're working on a new theater in the Pioneer Bluffs area, I believe is where, down South River Road from the barn. As of if that's a go or not, I could not tell you. I've also heard some other things that they're not doing so well. So again, I don't want to speculate in terms of Runaway Stage's workings, but they do rent from us annually. They have in the past. Avenue Q, of course, is one of the big ones that they have. We haven't had a reservation for this year thus far, but if we do, we will keep you posted.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions for Sam?
Sam, would it be safe to say that the shows at Black Box Theater are successful for the most part, from what you can tell?
Yes, I would say. Yeah, we get a high turnout for the shows that we do have scheduled, and we are looking to rent the space. 2 productions once a month is probably our goal. So we use various ways to advertise, again, Facebook. We have a Yelp page and Facebook. Yeah.
Stephen, questions or? I have a couple questions.
Okay.
The Intergalactic Expo, this is its fourth year, yes?
Correct.
And does the city produce this in partnership with anyone, or is it a city parks event?
It's in partnership with SAC Geeks,
SAC?
which is a local sci-fi group, and I forgot to mention probably the most important thing of that event is that it's a fundraising event, and this past year we raised $5,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation,
Great.
which is a great charitable organization here in town. We actually have an appointment to tour their Natomas offices on Friday and kind of see the fruits of our labor in terms of what they do day in and day out here in the area. So it's a great event. It's growing every year, and we really enjoy putting it on.
You're touring SAC Geeks, or you're touring?
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then you talked about the Lost Stars tribute as featuring local artists. How do you get that information out to the artistic community, to local West Sacramentans that might be interested in participating?
Yeah, we have a call for art that goes out on it's on the IGX website, and they coordinate with their SAC Geeks community. And Angie Pena also sends it out to artists that have showed here in the past. We're sending out a constant contact email with just Intergalactic Expo news and updates, and on that will also be a call for art. And anyone who's interested is more than welcome to submit a demo or submit some of their previous art. And
And is information about how to participate on the parks website?
it is not. We can update that.
And then my other question about both, specifically this event, which would seem, and your Indie Arcade, do you partner with Washington Unified School District or the private charter schools to get that information out to kids that might be in junior high school, or do you partner with Washington Unified to get this kind of a flyer
Yeah,
out to their students?
what we've done in the past is circulate that through the after-school programs, which are the ACEs, and we'll have Lucy Ramos, our coordinator, she has kids in a lot of the sites, and she'll drop off flyers at some of the local schools just to kind of get the word out. In terms of the local charter schools, that's something that we haven't done, and that's a great idea that we will implement.
It just, both of these seem, at any point that we can hit a touch point with a kid and
Yeah.
get them interested and enthusiastic about exploring their creative side or participating in this kind of a program. I know with the school district, as long as you provide the material and they approve it, they'll distribute it to the junior high school and the high school kids. So you might have some success hitting kids that are not participating in the after-school program.
Sure.
And their families.
Sure.
So, and you talked about the Facebook page. Is that the city's, the Public Information Officer's Facebook page, or is it?
It is not. We have
Parks,
a
or is
separate, through Parks and Recreation, we have a Facebook page, and we also have a separate Black Box Theater Facebook page, where we post each theater as an event. And then what we can do, once we have that event with the dates and the ticket sales information, we can share that event on my personal page, on Marie's page, on anyone's page that would like to.
Curious that's excellent. And do you think, though, that maybe some coordination with the information officer about, it seems like there is the city's social media, and then there's Parks, and then there's the Black Box Theater.
Yeah.
And so maybe if Paul Hosley could link to that and get it out in far enough advance that,
Yeah,
especially you talked about a program, Young Rembrandts?
Correct.
And, I mean, I saw 4 or 5 kids there, but I'm wondering if Washington Unified, because it looked like maybe it was during their Thanksgiving break?
We do offer a session during spring break,
Okay,
and we do summers, so multiple weeks throughout the summer
okay.
as kind of a camp. It's a week-long Monday through Friday mornings.
Wondering if they had notice of that sometime this week, as they get ready for spring break in a couple of weeks, that might encourage some local. And then I'm also wondering, I saw that there was, or I'm assuming that there's a reduction in fees for participation for kids in that program?
We have a resident rate.
And it was
and
like $75?
The Young Rembrandts is actually $145.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we did some research with some of the other art classes that are being offered through Parks and Rec in the area and also elsewhere, and it's on par with a lot of that. And this is actually, this group, Young Rembrandts, is an outside organization. They basically run art camps and art programs at sites all over the city. And we negotiated with them to even lower their fees.
That's excellent. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and, we understand that 145 is not cheap. And so again, that's something we'll be working with to try to lower these down. And we do offer fee assistance forms for those who apply.
So here's a long shot, but there's quite a bit of excitement and activity around the mayor's home run initiative for kids. And so I'd be curious, moving forward, just maybe a conversation that might happen about finding some subsidy not happening. Just potentially there might be a connection for a child resident to get some kind of financial assistance from that fund. I'm just grasping at straws.
Hi, Cindy Tuttle, Director of Parks and Recreation. I think what you may see is that, particularly in the early learning services portion of the Measure E funding, that you could see within the programs that Measure E is funding, you could see art components, whether it be, musical art or, visual arts or painting or, all the different mediums. But I do not, I'm just going to be honest, I do not see where you would see a line item specifically around the arts. Again, I think it'll be more incorporated into the programs, the specific programs, and primarily in the preschool component, because I think what is really important to remember about Home Run for Kids is it's not the major education system for the city.
Right.
It's augmenting, K-12. We're not in the Washington Unified School District business. We're not in the Los Rios Community College District's business. That's their business. This program is really just augmented to fill the gaps around that for quality preschool, making sure kids have money to go to college, the college promise, the college scholarship, the digital badging. So I don't think you'll see programmatic line items.
Around the arts.
Right.
Okay. There was a 501c3 nonprofit that was attached to the Parks Department.
Well, we've been doing most of our 501c3 work through the West Sacramento Community Foundation.
Okay.
And at least for Parks and Community Services, I see that relationship continuing. Of course, it will be up to the Board of Directors of the Community Foundation to see if they want to continue to partner with Parks and Rec. For example, last year, they did all of the McBridge Fest. They helped with filtering all the funding for that, event. So I see that relationship continuing as well, as long as they're happy with it, as far as for Parks and Recreation related events.
I'm curious about potential for corporate or business sponsorship related to the arts.
Excuse me, this sounds like something Rotary might be very well interested in.
Yeah, which would be another nonprofit. But I know that there are corporations here that do small grant funding in lumps of $2,000 or $5,000. And this Young Rembrandt program, or any program that would encourage a kid to, that would lower the cost of admission, the entry point. I'm wondering.
I may be speaking way out of line here, but we just spoke about the Intergalactic Expo and that the funding was going to go to
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Make-A-Wish
Uh-huh.
Foundation. Perhaps there could be a conversation with that organization, not necessarily Make-A-Wish, but the partnering organization for that event, where perhaps a portion of that could go toward, those are the types of relationships, I think,
Yes.
where you're going to get the money. So if the city meets with that contractor and says, hey, we're willing to, can we give half to Make-A-Wish and half to provide subsidies or scholarships for low-income families in West Sacramento so our own people can attend?
Yes.
So I think those types of things are really possible. We are constantly looking at grant opportunities, both big and small here in the city. We now have Tracy Michael, who is our business manager. I mean, to be honest, she's going after big money. We just wrote $1 million OGALS grant for Bright Park. We wrote a $500,000 grant for the Regional Trails Initiative. So we're really kind of targeting more big bucks, but if some of these smaller foundations, if it's an easy enough application and you don't have to give your arm and leg actually costing you more money to administer the grant than the money you get, then absolutely, we should be chasing that, absolutely.
West Sacramento Community Foundation opens their grant process this
Every year.
spring. And,
Yep.
and Sam, please know, at least from my standpoint, I'm not talking about this year's intergalactic. I'm
Sure.
looking at moving forward, but if it were possible, I mean, if it were a $1,000 grant, could break out into, 10 kids paying $45 instead of $100, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but a way that from a community level, we could support some of the really good work that you're doing, that I'm not sure if everybody really knows about it. I mean,
Yeah. No, point well taken, and I believe that we can definitely try to get the word out a little more in terms of some of the
So-
local programming.
is that a parks policy?
And Sam probably doesn't realize this, but Connie and I on a regular basis are working with Paul Hosley, our communications director, on all of our programs. So, yeah, we have a direct link to Paul, and,
Just it'd be nice if he shot some of that out. It just seems like it's,
yeah, oh, no, he does. He does. And so the three mediums that Sam talked about, the city's PIO, our own Facebook account, and then the black box, it's three opportunities of getting the word out.
Great.
So it's not just vested and nested in one.
so it's not just, it's black box, so it's going to be in black box.
It's in
Gotcha.
all three
great.
venues. Now, there are some events, just to be honest, that don't maybe rise to the level of going citywide, but for the most part, I think it's just about most of them, Connie, when you say it's most of the events that we're coordinating with Paul Hosley. And also, we have an internal city council newsletter that
Right.
goes out, that all this stuff is put in. So there's lots of different venues that they're utilizing for that.
I may be the only person in West Sacramento that still opens my utility bill, even though it's paid automatically.
Yeah.
But if this were in there, I might pay some attention to that,
And on the Constant Contact, we have a network of 18,000 recipients, so that'll be shot out to thousands of people here this week.
And are the current commissioners on that constant
Yes.
contact? Okay,
Yes.
The only issue with doing utility inserts, while I agree with you, it's a great venue, there is a cost involved in that. And with all of these programs, and as you can imagine, Parks and Recreation runs on a pretty thin budget because we are general fund, and, there's a lot of competing for general fund dollars. So we usually try to utilize messaging methods that are not costly so that we can put as much as we can into the program that gets to the recipient of the program, which is, in this case, youth.
Yeah.
But, if things should ever turn around, or if we do land a big grant, absolutely, that could be a venue for getting the word out.
So to back up, and in preparation for next year, then would that be a parks policy or a black box theater policy that if you rent this theater, 5% of the rental goes into this fund to help, or, do you know what I'm saying? How would that work?
That would actually have to be a city council policy, because you're talking about revenue and how revenue is going to be spent. So if you, So my guess it would be two things. It would have to go into the book of fees, and then it would have to be a city council policy that they want a portion of those rental fees to go toward whatever. The issue with rental fees is that that's utilized to actually maintain the facility and be able to have it available for future generations, and to pay for staff attendance,
Right.
and those types of things. So at some point, if you're adding additional fees on, does the cost of the facility, are you cutting your face off or nose
Yeah.
off to spite your face? But those are things that we can look at.
Ticket, or like, so you said all the
A
proceeds.
surcharge or something on a ticket.
You said the proceeds from the Intergalactic Expo, that's not from the rental, is that, what's the
Well,
revenue stream?
Yeah, they don't actually rent the space from us. That is from all the vendor booths that purchase space to participate in the event, so they can sell their own goods and services.
There are vendors?
Oh, yeah, they sell comic books, they sell toys, they
Oh,
sell, we have a huge vendor showroom downstairs in the Galleria. So that's where we get the majority of the Make-A-Wish Foundation donation.
Okay.
Yes, we cover our costs initially, so this does not cost the city any money to run the event, and everything that we have thereafter is for donation.
Great.
Probably would be easier to ask that the proceeds, the net proceeds from the event, like this, that's a partnered event, that those are utilized for that purpose. Like I spoke about earlier, speaking
Gotcha.
to that particular vendor about, or that partner, excuse me, about sharing or taking a portion of that for subsidies for youth programs in the community center.
Related to the arts.
Related to the arts, yeah.
I have a question on
Sure.
use of the black box. With the poem being vetted by this commission, by Jeff Knorr, who's a very good reader and a fine poet, would it be possible sometime in the future to publicize this, to have a poetry reading perhaps with Mr. Knorr and the maybe 10 other poets that had been selected?
Sure.
As high-quality poems, an open reading in the black box?
Absolutely.
And I know Jeff would probably be very willing to come across and deliver his poem, and he's very genial and very well-spoken.
Great. As soon as we can just pin down a date, then we can get it on our calendar.
That would be a lovely evening.
We'd probably want to make sure and coordinate that with
AJ.
Katie Jacobson, because we don't want to get out in front of, the grand,
I think that there is an
but if they can
event
coordinate it,
planned
that'd be
around
great.
The kind of unveiling and announcement.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
have that
good.
event,
There
do it
is.
as part of the event for the unveiling, and like you say, I think that would be great.
Yep.
So we should just want to coordinate with her, because we'd hate to have this big thing in the black box and then, oh yeah, it's on the street now. So we can do that. I think that's a great idea. Fun.
So maybe next time, an update on any possibility around the poetry event.
Yeah, I don't know the timing. You guys would know more, that perhaps based on what happened at your workshop last week, as far as what they thought was a timeline for installation. Does anyone recall that?
I'm looking at Stephen because he has the notes. I don't remember either. I want to
I
say,
think there was still a lot of work to be done. She
because
needed-
there's a lot of infrastructure that has to happen around it, a lot
Yeah.
of engineering that has to happen around it.
And it was dependent on the poem we picked and the length of it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So as soon as we know that, we can let you know when we know what the schedule is for that. And I think it'd be a great idea to have a reading around that, particularly in the black box. And again, it's linking these different districts to different areas of the city, which I love.
Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah, no problem.
Any further questions?
Actually, Sam, I do have one more.
Yes.
This is strictly from like a participant point of view and like somebody who likes to be in the theater and involved.
Sure.
Is there a way for people to volunteer, or is there like a black box volunteer people can go to, or can they audition for things, or to be in these plays, any West Sacramento
Well, again,
residents?
as the theater, we are the rental house that we facilitate the space for outside groups that come in and rent from us. So I would have to direct those interested to contact the theater groups
Okay, so they're,
directly.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 3, California Parks and Recreation Society Award of Excellence for Generation Bridge Program. Connie Leak, Recreation Manager.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I am Connie Leak. I would like to claim I'm a lifelong West Sacramento resident, but I'm not. I'm born in Woodland. But I started my love of recreation working for the YMCA in Woodland. And when I moved to West Sacramento later in my high school years, I started working with, at the time, EYCSD. So that goes way back,
Yolo.
East Yolo Community Services District. And that was my beginning with West Sacramento Parks and Recreation, and I went on to graduate from Sacramento State, and I have my master's in recreation administration. I married into a local family, so I married into Bill Leak. He was the district psychologist for Washington Unified for 25 years, and his wife Jane was a teacher here in town. So I married their youngest son, Scott, and we've raised our 2 daughters here, and they have attended school in West Sacramento, and we live, work, play, breathe West Sacramento. So welcome to the commission, and those of you who are new to the commission, and I look forward to getting to know some of you. Some of you I know, and some of you I know from the past, and sort of worked with you in other realms. So what I'd like to share with you tonight is an exciting award. West Sacramento is once again an award-winning city. And we won an award for Generation Bridge. So you have a flyer in front of you. Generation Bridge is our active aging volunteer program. It's about 3 years old. We use active aging participants to go into our after-school and summer programs. And a lot of the emphasis is on health and activity and fitness. So we have a component called Prime Fit. And it can be on anything from nutrition, hydration, exercise, those types of things. But we also have other areas. We have an area called Wisdom Workshops, and that's a really cool one, where our active aging participants take an area that they have interest in. It might be yoga, might be Tai Chi, it might be a certain type of crafting, and they teach it to the youth in our programs. Another program component we have is called Passing Notes. It's amazing how many children don't write letters and don't know about letter writing. And so we have pen pals, and the seniors are matched up with youth. And those are heartwarming to hear about and to read. And I get to be at the community center, and I get to hear my active aging seniors come tell me about their youth that they're assigned to, and how they got a new bike, or they're struggling in this class, and the seniors are talking amongst each other about how to write a letter back to that youth and sort of advise them. So it's just a really heartwarming program. And it is very worthy of the award that it just won. So it is the 2016 recipient of the California Parks and Recreation Society. So if you don't know what the California Parks and Recreation Society, State of California, that's our big professional organization. And each year they pick their best of the best. And agencies throughout California will apply in various areas, and we're proud to say that we are a winner. To give you an idea of the areas, there are 5 areas: creating community, excellence in design, excellent park planning design, excellent in design for facility design, marketing and communications, and professional service. And I'm also proud to say that we have won in 3 of those areas in the last few years. So in 2011, our beautiful West Sacramento Community Center was a recipient for facility design mixed use for the community center. In 2014, we won a Marketing and Communications Award of Excellence for a video on our West Sacramento Recreation Center. So 2011, 2014, and now in 2017, we are the recipient for the Creating Community Award of Excellence for Aging Well. So we are the one agency that, under that category, is the Aging Well winner. So with that, I'll show you a little bit of the video that was presented. This was a very long video at the awards presentation. I'm just going to show you 2 clips that basically explain it and apply to us.
The California Park and Recreation Society's annual awards program seeks to recognize outstanding achievements by agencies in the areas of creating community through programming, park planning, facility design, and marketing and communications. This year's award winners were selected as having best exemplified the CREAM principles of challenge, resourcefulness, execution, accomplishments, and mission, representing our finest professional achievements from this past year.
So we're skipping ahead the park planning section.
Our Creating Community Award of Excellence recognizes outstanding initiatives by agencies that embrace the core values and mission of the profession and that move their agency toward a stronger position or role in the community. Each program has been offered for a minimum of 3 years. The recipients of the 2016 Creating Community Awards are: under the category of Aging Well, the City of West Sacramento Park and Recreation Department for Generation Bridge, an intergenerational volunteer program. The City of West Sacramento's Generation Bridge program is an intergenerational volunteer program in which seniors ages 50 and over volunteer with the youth of the community, offering a variety of programs including health and nutrition classes, as well as wisdom workshops in which the volunteers teach classes based on their hobbies and interests. This creative program is driven by the volunteer base, and programs are delivered solely by volunteers in the after-school, early learning, and summer programs. Benefits include social interaction for the active aging community and connection and expanded learning services for the community's youth.
So just wanted to share that tonight. We're obviously very proud. This is the highest recognition our agency can receive, and it's a credit to our talented staff and volunteers and just the heart of our community. And we're extremely proud of this. We were able to showcase our program in what is called the Best of the Best at the annual CPRS conference in Sacramento. And we had a big, proud booth with videos of our participants working with the children, you know, all of our flyers, samples of the work, pictures throughout the year, and we got to be the best of the best. And other agencies from California come through and ask the questions, how do we do this? How do we become the best of the best like you? How do we do this program? We also are now able to use this for a third program, and this is our Award of Excellence winner seal. So we're able to put this when we advertise or anything that we do with Generation Bridge, and also our community center building, and like we said, the rec center for their video marketing. So just exciting news, and here's the actual award. And just want to make you aware of it, and we appreciate any support. In front of you, you have the actual Generation Bridge flyer, and you have these wonderful testimonials from some of our participants, some of our active aging, and they're really heartwarming. If you read them, maybe you can encourage people you know who would like to give back and come do something like this with the youth in our community. You know, spread the word, and we'll invite you out to see some stuff in the future too with our Generation Bridge volunteers. So, any questions?
Well, I'm delighted I got to know Mabel. She's wonderful. She's just an incredible person.
Yeah, Mabel is wonderful. Yeah, and she's one of our longest, the entire duration she's been there. And yeah, her testimony is wonderful on the second sheet there, so.
Can you tell me?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
congratulations.
We're so proud of our staff and our volunteers there.
This is really good work.
I knew. So the conference is in Southern California every other year, and then it's in Sacramento every other year. And I said, when it's in because we had to be 3 years old, because that was one of the rules. I said, this is going to win. So I said, when it's in Sac next, we're going to get this award, and we did. So it was really wonderful to take the staff and go celebrate it, and some of the volunteers to go celebrate it. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
Nice
Thank
work.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Item number 4, approval of the minutes of the September 26, 2016 regular meeting. As this is our first meeting of 2017, and we didn't have a meeting in December, I need a motion to defer this approval of the minutes until our next meeting, because Ian and I we don't have a quorum of the people that were here.
I have to think parliamentarily. If
Right.
you have a quorum, and so I don't know if they abstain, if it's a quorum of those voting, that you're probably okay. I don't know legally if that works. Why don't we do that? And if it's not a proper motion and not a proper approval, then we can put it back on. But this way we can, so what you would do is you would ask for a motion and a second, and so you and Ian would then vote, and the other 3 members that were not here would abstain, and then I will have to determine whether that is proper. And if it is, we'll let it go. If it's not, we'll bring it back. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, great.
So seeking a motion to approve the minutes of the September 26, 2016 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Abstain?
Abstain.
All those in favor of approving these minutes say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Minutes are approved. Item number 5, consideration of Resolution 17-01, setting the time and date for the 2017 regular meeting of the Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission. Cindy.
The item is before you. It's pretty self-explanatory. I think we were actually wanted to have a you know what, were we having a discussion?
Put these dates out for the coming year.
Oh, okay, great. I know one of the commissions wanted to discuss what their day was, and so that must have been Parks. Okay.
So we, historically, this commission has met once a quarter.
Oh, here they are.
We meet the first month or the last month of the quarter on
Well,
the
yeah.
fourth Monday?
The dates are actually on your resolution that's attached to your staff report. So it's June 26th, September 25th, and December
is.
18th.
I don't,
Did you not get the resolution? It's the back
there it
page
is.
of the
It's the
staff
very
report.
last, yes. So today's meeting, and then June the 26th, September the 25th, and December the 18th.
Correct.
And we need a motion to accept the resolution.
Yes.
All motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sorry, just, was that Ian first and Sam second?
Uh-huh.
Great, thank you.
And all those in, any opposition? Thank you so much. Okay. Item number 6, general administration. Director's report, approval of alternate member to the West Sacramento Age-Friendly Advisory Committee.
Again, Cindy Tuttle, Director of Parks and Recreation. You may recall that the mayor appointed members of this commission to the Age-Friendly Committee. Ian was actually selected to serve as the primary representative to that commission, and I think he has been participating. He is now an alternate member to this commission, And therefore, we need to have this commission's agreement that it is okay for Ian as an alternate to this commission to continue to serve in that role as the primary representative to the age-friendly committee. Staff's recommendation is that you do allow that because this work is like midstream, and to bring, somebody on new. I mean, not that it couldn't be impossible, but we hope that Ian would continue to do that. And if there were reports that needed to be made, that we could make arrangements for him to come and do that. So we just want to confer that you have no problems with him continuing to be that representative.
Madam Chairman, I would move that Ian, as an alternate member to the West Sacramento Age-Friendly Advisory Commission, is allowed to continue in that capacity.
He's not an alternate to the age-friendly committee.
An
He's-
alternate to the commission, I'm
To
sorry.
the Arts Commission will serve as the primary to the Age-Friendly Commission. I know, it's convoluted and confusing, I know.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I just saw this handy reminder right here. So, as moved by Commissioner McMichaels, that Commissioner Branham serve on the Aging
Age-Friendly Committee.
Age-Friendly Committee in his role as an alternate to our commission, and seconded by Commissioner Hayashi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Motion carried. Great.
I had a couple of other items, just informational for you. I'm pleased to report that we're going to be meeting with Bridge District representatives to actually discuss the installation of both the Kaneko art sculpture, the Diego sculpture, and then a discussion around the Mill Street Pier art piece. So there are 3 pieces coming into the Bridge District in the near future, and it's actually coordinating those installations so that maybe we can take advantage of economies of scale, because as we all know, art has to be handled very differently and installed very differently, and you have to have professionals do it. It's not like you can just go out and plop it in the ground. And so we're very excited about those discussions that are going to be happening, I think, later this week, and we'll make sure and keep you posted about those installations, because of course there'll be some fanfare around when those go in and how they go in, and probably some celebrations when they do go in. I also wanted to just point out that the 2017 annual report for the Parks and Recreation Department is available for you, and there's just a lot of great statistics and data, and sometimes data can be kind of boring, but we tried to make this fun, and Ana Padilla is the individual who put this together for us with, of course, assistance from all of our divisions. And as you know, we have 5 very distinct divisions here in the Parks and Recreation Department. We have administration, which is really not captured on this. This is more early learning services, the community center, the recreation center, and our Parks Maintenance Division is all captured on this document. Administration's captured a little differently, but some of the administrative, like special events, are on here, but the policy work isn't on here. But it was very impressive to me when I looked at this, and you think about, this department currently has about 45 full-time staff and quite a few part-time staff based on, the programs. Obviously, it ramps up in the summertime and ramps down in the winter, but they provide a lot of service to the community that these numbers reflect. So I just thought I would share that with you. I think it was kind of fun. And then lastly, I think, as you know, Dan Anderson, this is truly, we talk about love-hate relationships. This is a love-hate thing. We hate to see him go. He is leaving us, but we love that he is leaving because he was promoted and he'll be going to the fire department. So it's a step up for him and for money as well. So you can never be, sad about somebody that's making their life better for themselves and their family. As I think Dan has a young son and a beautiful wife, and this will help them to prosper even more. So we're glad he's not leaving the city. He's just going onto a bigger and better role in the fire department. And I just personally want to thank Dan for his service to both in the administrative office, but also to this commission and the other commission, because he's been the primary staff member that keeps everything straight. And then I'd like to introduce Anna Padilla. I think many of you may know Anna. Anna's going to step in for Dan until we are able to hire a new clerk. Dan's irreplaceable, but we'll find somebody. And I want to thank Anna for stepping up and filling in. As many of you know, she's our secretary. And so she's going to help us out until we can find somebody new. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I think that was all I had on my list for today.
Congratulations, Dan.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Dan for all his help over the years. He's always been great.
Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it. I've really enjoyed my time working with you all, and it was a hard decision to make, but I'm excited about it, and we'll see what the future holds.
Well, it's wonderful news that you're not leaving our community.
Yeah, I'm really
And
relieved.
having sat on this commission for maybe ever, please know, you did an impressive job here. You did really good work.
Thank you.
We got agendas like not left on our doorstep. I mean, you are organized and you have a great memory of what's gone on, at least in this commission, I'm sure in all the commissions that you served in. You know, we're really grateful. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, fire is lucky to have you.
Thank you.
In that line, Denise, I'd like to move that we officially commend Dan for his service, although I'm new. Just having him send out all the things that he's done over this past process has been wonderful. So if I'd like to move that we commend him for his past service and wish him well in his new endeavor.
Is there a second to that motion?
I will second that.
All those in favor? Aye. You are commended. And, yeah, congratulations. Commission calendar is attached for your review. Are there any questions? Future item requests.
Yes, I do have a couple of things. Because our city has been so forward-thinking in regional cooperation, I'm wondering if a member of this committee should perhaps audit Sacramento Metropolitan Arts Commission. They're having a new initiative on busking in their community, which is something that really develops artists and young people and adds to the whole milieu of excitement in the arts. And their next meeting is April 10th at, I believe, Clara Studios. But, and we could invite them to similarly audit our commission if they were so inclined.
So we are working, just a little background.
Oh, good.
We are working with the Sacramento Arts Commission now on a couple of joint, or at least one joint NEA grant, looking at using art to tie the riverfronts together on both sides. And Katie Jacobson, who's doing excellent work for the city and the Washington and the Bridge District, has been working very closely with them. So from that standpoint, I was selected by the commission to participate in that process as it relates to our side of the river. I think it would be unusual to appoint a representative officially from this group. Having said that, and because we are forward-thinking, and it is West Sacramento, and we are involved on both sides of the river, any commissioner that wanted to go and participate and then report back under the commission communications would absolutely be in order and would be welcomed. So I don't know.
Thank you. Being new, I will have questions that seem,
Sure.
I'm sure most of these things have already been thought about.
Well, actually, no one's ever suggested that, and it's a great idea. I don't know that it's an official commission position because we're not actively engaged, but anyone who wants to go and attend and find out more about that, I think would be welcome during the commission comments under.
Cindy, is your staff already attending on a regular basis or just as needed?
Probably just as needed.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
just as needed. And Chair Seals is absolutely correct that appointments to those types of organizations usually come down from the city council, because we're advisory in nature. I mean, yeah, this commission does make decisions, but at the end of the day, it's advisory. So it could be that, you know, if you guys go and you see something that, oh gosh, we really need to be involved in, we can always take it up to the council level and say, you know, how does this fit in with your strategic objectives and your, because sometimes there's an issue of staffing resources, but again, Chair Seals is absolutely correct. Anyone and I encourage it if people are willing to do it and have the time to go to other, you know, types of bodies that can help educate and inform the decisions that are made here. Absolutely, and I think you're absolutely right, Chair Seals, that they bring it in under the under the, excuse me, Commission Communications. I attended BLA, and you know, they've developed a policy on buskers, and perhaps the city needs to look at allowing buskers to come in, and this commission can always make a recommendation to the council in that regard.
Great, thank you so much. I have the 2017 council objectives. I remember seeing them at the commissioners' orientation meeting. Did they go out directly to the commission?
The strategic,
The strategic plan?
oh, yeah, did we bring the cards?
Pass them out on the counter there.
Oh, you should have are you talking about the strategic summary? The little
Oh,
short?
there they
Yeah,
are.
it's a little bookmark card instead of a poster.
Sorry, there was a
I'm more than
stack.
happy to speak to that if you'd like.
This is just, yes.
Okay. So you may recall that actually last year, it's probably best to kind of preface what we were doing last year around strategic. Oh, thank you. How did you know I needed this? So last year, the Parks and Recreation Department was actually tasked with 3 of the strategic objectives that were adopted by council. You may recall the barn. We had to put together the policy and programming for the 10 days that the city has for use at the barn. That has been completed. The Parks and Recreation Department was also a partner with the police department in the public and open space cleanup and enforcement program, which was basically addressing the homeless camps within the city. And then the third element that we were involved with was the Regional Trails Initiative, of which Tracy Michael actually made a presentation to this commission at your last meeting, relevant to issuing an RFP for the development of that plan, which is underway currently. So our 3 objectives from last year are well on their way or completed. This year, strategic planning actually just kind of expanded on that. And you'll see here, the ones that our department, again, is directly involved in is the homelessness and community impacts, Measure E. Now with the adoption of Measure E, what was called the Open Space Cleanup and Enforcement Program has been formalized. It'll be an ongoing city program that will now be funded under Measure E. So again, the part that the Parks and Recreation Department undertakes is the cleanups of the camps. We actually do the trash removal and coordinating. We're doing all the goats with the vegetation, if you've seen the goats around town. And just so everybody knows, at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, the goats will be herded across Jefferson Boulevard. And they have to stop the traffic for 5 minutes to do it. I'm going out there if I can, just because I want to see these goats going across Jefferson. But so our department, again, is part of that program. Kids Home Run, Measure E, we are very involved in that as well, because as you know, Early Learning Services is a division of Parks and Recreation. Justine Jimenez, who's our director, has been working very closely with Ian and the city manager's office, as the Home Run for Kids just went to the city council last week, and they've now created a manager position. And so the next few months will probably tell the tale of whether Kids Home Run eventually is going to end up entirely in the Parks Department, or whether Early Learning Services, which is currently the portion that's under Parks, will go under Kids Home Run somewhere else. And we haven't gotten that far yet, but that will be something that we'll be working on a lot in the next few months. We are also very heavily involved in, of course, the bicycle, pedestrian, and trail improvements. Again, a Measure E funded component, which we're extremely excited about because it's going to be able to really jumpstart not only the bike ped and trails items that are identified in the bike ped and trails master plan, but it'll also directly relate to the regional trails initiative and provide base funding for grant matches to be able to actually get some of that stuff built and done and on the ground. So we're really, really excited about that. Going down the list here, and then, of course, the big one for this department as well is the Parks and Open Space Master Plan. As you know, our Parks Master Plan was developed in 2003. There was some minor updates that were done in 2006. It is a requirement that it be done every 10 years, so we're kind of behind. It is imperative that we get an update to our Parks and Open Space Master Plan, particularly because we have a new general plan, so that becomes really critical because they're out of sync now. Plus, there's been so much change in the geography that's going to happen in the southern portion of the city because of the levee improvements that were not contemplated at the time the 2003 Parks Master Plan was developed. So a lot of the ideas back then about a community park, well, that's going to be underwater, so where they had it. So we have to revisit some of those issues as well as probably take a really close look at how we're defining a park. The original 2003 Parks Master Plan defined a park pretty traditionally, and we're really not a traditional urban city from the standpoint of, being surrounded by water and linear parks. And so we need, I think, to take advantage of counting those linear functions and some of the water features as actually counting toward parks, as well as the open space element. So this is some of the stuff that we'll be looking at over the next few months. An item's actually going to go to council later April or early May, issuing the RFQ for that item. So as you can see, the department's going to be extremely busy. We have, 4 items that we're heavily involved with. I'm also happy to answer any questions if I can. Oh, the last one we are also involved in, is law enforcement and youth outreach. Paul Reyes, who is the manager of our West Sacramento Recreation Center, and his crew will be involved, working hand in hand with the police department on that particular program as well. So we'll be busy, but that's a good thing. But I'm happy to answer, if you have questions, I can try to answer them on some of these other items that are on here. And this is basically our council direction. This is what you as staff are to work on.
And so as commissioners, if we have, when Ms. Tuttle talks about elevating something to council, or, yeah, that might be a good idea about this, base for kids to participate in art programs, it's incumbent on staff then, if it moves up the ladder, because we are advisory, we don't set policy, we don't control revenue, we don't, but if there is an idea around, let's say, youth outreach through the arts, then everything that moves up has to tick one of these boxes. And so when I look at this for the next year, I see that this commission might have input and advice around the youth outreach with the law enforcement under the top priority. Flood protection, not so much. Grateful that they do it, right? But public art around bike, ped, and trail improvements. Public art definitely in planning around the I Street Bridge deck conversion and what that might look like. The Washington-specific plan, potentially even the Grand Gateway Washington plan. And then certainly the Parks and Open Space Master Plan. What is a park? What does it look like? How does public art happen in a park? Who pays for that? What's the policy criteria around that? So as commissioners, because half of these boxes are fallen into the Parks Department, it's incumbent on us to be really careful about what becomes an exciting new thing to send up to council. And that'll happen, it'll come. We get information in this direction, art projects, historic preservation projects. But elevating up it needs to be strategically significant to council's plan, council's strategic agenda for the year. So that's just kind of a little insight.
I have an idea that might be, because of my age, I take Amtrak in to see my grandniece in the Bay Area often. And many communities have the homelessness along the railroad tracks. It's not West Sacramento, but all along the tracks, communities like Davis look impacted and so forth. And you can't help but notice. But in the homelessness, we have a large camp, which in itself is not bad or out of the norm of riding the train, but there's a large sign that's not reflective of our community that I'm sure an individual business owner put up because of the homelessness. And it would be lovely, because of the riders of Amtrak and the commuters, to have a cleanup there with a sign that might be done, a mural by youths, along that large expanse of building. Now, this needs the business owners' cooperation, the property owners' cooperation. I realize what I'm suggesting is not a small thing, but yet the impact, just as one hits the Sacramento River, I think would be really set us apart from every other community along the lines. Some are quite lovely. They have lovely little train stations. We don't have the station here in our community, but we have the river and the entrance to it, which is the most dramatic thing that happens along that commuter line.
So as staff moves forward in the Washington-specific plan for the year, because that is that neighborhood, there is potential that someone from this, I'm hearing an interest in someone from this commission being involved in the committee conversations around the specific plan, and that's very appropriate, and then that would be introduced at that point. So that's a great example. That's a great example of here is a thing I see, and here is an agenda item that council has set as a high priority, or a top priority actually for management, an opportunity as a commissioner potentially then our support from the staff side as they are internally starting to put together people to talk about this, then might suggest that the Arts Commission have someone and the historical president. I mean, it ticks two boxes of our charge.
And culture, I think all three, because our culture here is very welcoming. And that would be an outward.
That might be an opportunity then to have that kind of input. So that's a great example of, it's a great illustration of what she was just talking about, and how that could tie in with that, yeah.
I hope so. Being a newbie, sometimes,
Sometimes that's the best way to be as a
It
newbie.
is, it's all good ideas. So I heard interest for future items around the Washington-specific plan update and how the Arts Commission might be involved in that. I heard interest around moving forward, looking at opportunities for funding around scholarships for kids in the arts, or this is like a big picture. These are all big picture things. Is there any other future agenda items? An update on the firehouse historic status? Is that, I don't even know if that's been filed.
I don't know. That would be something I'd have to check with Aaron Laurel and the Economic Development Commission folks about.
And then I was thrilled to see that that the West Sacramento Art Guild is still active in our community. I think it kind of, like a lot of organizations, it's kind of cyclical. And it would be wonderful, we hear from the Historic Society periodically.
Definitely,
It would be
yeah.
wonderful just to extend an invitation to them to come and bring the commission up to date on what their activities are and some of the history sometime in this next year.
Yeah, I'd love that.
That'd be great, yeah.
Yes, and they do have a show in our gallery annually, and actually, they're going to start holding their meetings, some of their meetings in the community center, so we'll certainly get them invited here shortly to, and you're right,
Well,
it's a
it's
long-standing organization.
Decades-old organization.
Yeah, my father-in-law was, back in the day, and so, they're getting very united again, and
I think it'd
it's
be lovely to
exciting.
hear from them and get an update and kind of bring the rest of the commission up to speed on their activities in the past.
Yep, we'll get it on the agenda.
Anything else in this next year you'd like to hear about?
Well, you'll have other meetings to let us know. I just want to confirm the 4, because Dan's leaving and Anna's new, and so I'm taking notes. So, you'd like an update on the Washington-specific plan. You'd like to
Or
find
or at
out,
least an opportunity to participate.
okay,
If it is appropriate, that in that conversation, there could be a conversation around the preservation and an art impact to it. Yeah, that would seem to be relevant to the historic preservation piece.
right, because I know that the Washington-specific plan has come to this commission in the past, so I'll check with Katie Jacobson and see how that would all work. But yeah, we'll definitely find out about that, because there is some new things that are, if you look on your card, you'll see here that one of the items is Washington District 3rd and C Gateway.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some stuff going on there. So definitely, I think there's some opportunities there to do that. And then funding for scholarships for the arts, as we had talked about. An update on the Firehouse's historical designation, and then having the Historical Commission come and update this commission as to their activities.
The Art Guild.
Arts Guild.
Oh, the Art Guild.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I'm sorry. Thank you. See, I'm not taking good notes.
And Cindy was there.
I haven't taken them in a long time. Art Guild update to Arts
And then a
Commission. Okay.
question, if we had talked in September about maybe potentially doing a workshop for the commission. This commission has had big turnover. Yeah, we have some areas that we have some input into around, we have a public art fund. It might be great if all the commissioners were familiar with that. Just maybe a 1-hour workshop to bring everyone up to speed on things like the art plan and some of the things, maybe copies of the Washington specific plan, which some of the things that we've already heard, so that as a result of new members of the commission, we're not repeating, we're moving forward, we're not going over.
Actually, that may be the opportunity then to formulate your ideas and give your ideas around the Washington-specific plan at that point. So I think that is very doable. Actually, at a commission meeting, we can have updates brought to you, an educational piece on, the Washington-specific plan, what it is, what status is it at, what is the role of this body in the implementation of that particular plan. And then I think some of the other ones too, the Bridge District, maybe more of a global overview of your place in that world would be really great. I'd love to hear that too, actually. And so,
Okay.
and then I think, the art ordinance would be another one.
So
Yeah.
we'll leave that in, with you and
Yeah,
Anna's
we'll
capable
try to
hands
put something together for, I'm not going to have Dan help do it.
Because you have 50 other
Bobby's
things.
going to be like, I'm not doing it. We can shoot for your June meeting. Why don't we just shoot for your June meeting?
Okay,
Yeah, and we'll just have it as part of your commission meeting.
great.
Okay.
I appreciate that, Denise.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes it a more effective body. And it's been a very dynamic commission. So I think it just puts everybody on the same, yeah, and that's not just Gail and I sitting up here, blah, 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 blah. Everybody has the same strong base, so.
No, I think we can totally put that together. I think it's a great idea, and we're happy to do that.
Are there any other future items, or is there a motion to adjourn?
I would like to move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.